So today I want to tell you a story. It's about this little book called In the Name of Jesus by Henry Nouwen. But first I have to give you the backstory. I give my life back to Jesus at the age of 24, just out of university. And almost immediately I get involved in missions. I go overseas and I'm preaching the gospel, having a great time learning a lot. It was actually a very life transforming time for me. After my time was done, I come back home. I had a bunch of student loans I had to pay off, so I'm in the workforce, working away, paying off my debts, and then I feel a stirring to be further equipped, and so I decide that I'm going to go to a seminary. So I do that. After 3 years, I graduate. To give me a couple pats on the back, and now I feel like I'm totally radically equipped and ready now to take on the world. I feel like I'm ready to make a dent for the gospel of Jesus Christ in this fallen world that's falling apart. And so, as a graduation gift, I get this book from a friend. Put it on the shelf. I go off in missions. I'm preaching the gospel. It's a great time, really, really good time. But after 3 years, I come back home limping on the verge of burnout, tired as anything. And lo and behold, this book is still on my shelf. So I pick it up and I begin to read it. And whoa, the insight impacted my heart. Let me just read a quick passage to give you an idea as to why it impacted me. He says this. He says, Henry is saying that the secular world around us is saying in a loud voice, we can take care of ourselves. We do not need God, the church, or a priest. We are in control. And if we are not, then we have to work harder to get in control. The problem is not lack of faith, but lack of competence. If you are sick, you need a competent doctor. If you are poor, you need competent politicians. If there are technical problems, you need competent engineers. If there are wars, you need competent negotiators. God, the church, and the minister have been used for centuries to fill the gaps of incompetence, but today the gaps are being filled in other ways. And we no longer need spiritual answers to practical questions. He goes on to say that the response of the church to this secularization and that secular philosophy is for us to want to become even more equipped so we have better answers, more training, more skills in order to present the gospel in a better way that would be even more winsome for a secular culture, a secular heart. But what he's saying is if we do that, we are missing the boat. Because the real issue is that there's a cry in the human heart, every single human heart, to be loved, to be known, to be accepted just for who we are. And so no amount of training, no, just to clarify, nobody's negating, Henry is not negating, I am not negating the importance of training, equipping, having the better answers to offer those people who are asking genuine questions. That's very, very valid. But it's a question of priority. If we have all those skills, all that preparation, and placing that above the more significant issue, which is the cry of the human heart to be loved, we are missing the mark. And so what he's saying is that as Christian leaders, as Christian ministers, the main thing for us to do, the main focus of our hearts needs to be a development of our own personal relationship with God. He goes on to say later on in the book that Christian leaders cannot simply be persons who have well-informed opinions about the burning issues of our time. And how many people know there are so many burning issues of our time right now? He says their leadership must be rooted in the permanent intimate relationship with the incarnate Word, Jesus, and they need to find there the source for their words, advice, and guidance. Brilliant. The point he's making is simply this. The world is crying out to be known, to be loved, to be accepted, regardless of what facade we may have. That's the fundamental cry of the human heart. Therefore, the Christian minister, you and I, we need to first of all know ourselves that we are loved. We need to be so filled with the revelation of God's love for us that we have actually something to give away of meaning, of genuineness. And so that's what has been the cry of my heart for the last number of years, to begin to continually receive the love of God, to have those places of my heart that still aren't quite fully evangelized with the good news of the gospel of God's love. Have those places of my heart full so I have something authentic to give away to people. That's my journey, and I hope you, especially if you're a Christian minister, Christian leader, that would be the passion of your heart as well. Bless you.